Welcome back to Talk of the Town on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
And we welcome you back to Talk of the Town for this Wednesday, September the 16th. I'm Gary Stevens. We are pleased on a monthly basis to get an update what's going on at Holland Rescue Mission. Steve Rusticus joins us from the mission as he does and other staffers do from time to time. Sometimes Daryl Bartlett, the executive director as well. But Steve joins us today. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Gary. Good to be with you.
Glad you are with us on our Zoom connection. If you have a question about what's going on at the Holland Rescue Mission, Steve will be happy to answer it at 395-1450, 395-1450. I usually save this for the end, but I'm going to start right up with this right off the bat, Steve. Nuts and bolts. In terms of people helping the Holland Rescue Mission, what is in need right now besides, of course, obviously, some financial contributions?
Yeah, obviously that. We always say, the most significant thing people can do for us is pray. Because the battles we fight are not just physical ones, but they're spiritual ones. So that's a huge one. But one of the areas I would say that's really significant right now is that we're re-engaging a lot of our volunteers. And so if you have volunteered in the past and are interested in re-engaging and you feel like you can safely do that, that's a significant thing. Perhaps it's an area you've really wanted to step into. And I would say one of the most significant areas for us right now is in our food service area. We count on a lot of folks. Frank Wilson and the team over there count on a lot of folks to help them out. And because of COVID and all that's been going on, they're down a bit. We're seeing people re-engage, but that would be one of the huge areas for us right now.
And one of the things that the Postal Carriers Association are telling people that since they couldn't do the Stamp Out Hunger effort in May, they normally do it in the second Saturday of the month. The carriers collect the non-perishable food items for food services, such as the Holland Rescue Mission. They couldn't do it this year, because in Holland's always the third Saturday because of tulip time, but there wasn't a tulip time. There wasn't a collection this year. But they said, stop by some of the fine agencies that help. This is the time to do it because they say hunger has no season and the need's always there.
Yeah, and especially for us, our community has been great so far, but needs will increase. We may not want to face it, but winter's coming, and as winter comes, we see an increase, especially at our men's facility, of guys who need to be cared for. And we're also a place that shares some of those resources with other organizations as people bring them. So when you help us, you help individuals, but you also oftentimes help others in the community and other agencies that we'll share with.
And of course, one of the most important fundraising efforts for the Holland Rescue Mission is that resale sale shop, and you're able to get contributions once again and donations to be able to flip the items over and be able to raise funds by selling them through the resale.
Yeah, we've been blessed, man. This community is so great. They've been donating and they've been shopping. We say frequently here that it's not a matter of what we can sell, it's what gets donated. As people donate and it gets out on our store, if you've ever been in the 27,000 square foot store, it's a great resale store. And your donations and your purchases are going to help people who are a part of the mission, both from a shelter standpoint and program.
If you got a question for Steve Rusticus at the Holland Rescue Mission, he'll take it at 395-1450, 395-1450. By the way, the best way to know about what's going on at Holland Rescue Mission is online, hollandrescue.org, and we will put a link to that when we put the podcast of our conversation with Steve on our webpage at WHTC.com a little after 11 o'clock this morning. An hour ago, we had a young man named Noah join us. He is a part of the ASAP program with Escape Ministries, an effort to help young men and young women who may have fallen through the cracks at high schools and stuff, sort of get a second chance. To a certain extent, the Holland Rescue Mission gives second chance to those in our community who have fallen through the cracks. Let's put it this way, a far more serious cracks than maybe at school. Talk a little bit about what the mission does, Steve Rusticus, beyond providing maybe a place for those who don't have a home right now to stay. You really don't just say, well, we're just a homeless shelter. You're more than just that.
That's absolutely true. What we want to see, Gary, is, Christ-centered, Holy Spirit-empowered inner transformation, look at and move people towards positive life change. And sometimes, in fact, frequently, that takes more than a month or two. So we have opportunities for folks at both of our residential environments to step into two things. One that we call Pathway, which is an up to 4-month journey where we'll help people not only get housed, but also save money, get employed, and take some positive steps in those areas, and obviously be encounter Jesus and hear about the gospel if that's something that they're open to. And then the longer one is our Gateway program. So the Gateway program is a 40-week residential program. It's a discipleship and vocational program where those who say, you know what, man, what I've been doing is just not working. I need to take a step back and a step forward at the same time to say, I'm going to give, 9 months of my life to focus in on those things that have caused me the problems that I find myself in. They may be relational. Oftentimes they're substance abuse issues or other things. And so they'll spend 9 months with us. Half of a day will be in classes, Bible classes, educational classes, life skill classes. And then the other half of the day, they actually contribute to their own recovery by working in our Gateway production area. They learn some of the soft skills about how to sort of stay motivated, stay on a task, continue to work, how to deal with those relationships. And they're also a part of producing the product that goes out onto the floor. So you're right. I mean, we understand that the shelters we have are necessary. Some people just need a place to sleep and some food and clothing. But we also see it as an open door into change that can happen in people's lives as they lean on God and they lean on each other and learn some new skills and some new behaviors and attitudes.
This might be an unfair question, Steve Rusticus, but I'll ask it anyway. Are you a little surprised sometimes that some of the things that we might take for granted, granted is the wrong way, but we might say, well, that's just common sense, being able to balance a checkbook, being able to handle finances, being able to keep a home and maintain it, or just some of the basic things that we would take for granted as, that's how we live. But some that might be coming to Holland Rescue Mission, they need those skills either retaught or perhaps even taught for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. What we say is, the barriers that stop people from living the kind of life they want to live, some of them are self-induced, but some of them are they're because of the environment people grew up in and the culture they were a part of. And we see generational homelessness, people whose mother or father, grandfather have been homeless. And so the things that we may think are, like you said, common sense or just things we would naturally do are not things that someone's been taught to do. So we want to take away any kind of shame or embarrassment that people feel about those things and say, hey, let's find a way to walk into this together, and let's do this in a way that's loving and caring, but helps you take some positive steps. So, it's definitely one of those things. We all have our own brokenness in our lives, but for some, it can be life debilitating when they don't know how to do those things that we all take for granted.
395-1450, 395-1450. If you have a question for Steve Rusticus of the Holland Rescue Mission, he'll be happy to take it, and we'll take this all the way up to the top of the hour. When I chatted with Daryl Barnett, I chatted with Daryl last month, a couple of things. First of all, unfortunately, we chatted shortly after the decision was made to pull the plug on the great Thanksgiving dinner that is still much of a staple in our community as anything else. The night before Thanksgiving at DeVos Fieldhouse. Daryl Bartlett told us about what the fact was that is not going to happen this year, but that other things were going to sort of fill the hole and fill the vacancy. Can you sort of amplify a little bit more about what efforts are in to help the community that needs to help, even though there's no banquet this year?
Yeah, we're in process. We're joining up and partnering with Community Action House to provide turkeys, food supplies, and then the care boxes that we're always a part of what happened at the Great Thanksgiving Banquet, and to make those available the week or the weekend before Thanksgiving. So we're really, we're sad that we can't do the Great Thanksgiving Banquet, but we are to a certain degree excited in this new venture where we can partner with our friends at Community Action House and do this. More information will be coming out about that in the coming weeks, but that's the direction for this year. And we think, well, again, while we're sad we can't do what we do at DeVos, we think this will be a good thing and a great opportunity for us to continue to minister to folks in the community who need it.
And of course, the one thing I like to point out with the care boxes, which is to me as much of an important part of the banquet as the food that is being served, is that those care boxes are items that cannot be provided for with the SNAP card or the bridge card. They are not covered. Toiletries, personal items that, frankly, they need as much of, and to be honest with you, maybe a few pairs of socks.
Absolutely. And those care boxes with toothpaste and soap and toilet tissue and all of that kind of stuff, I would agree with you, Gary. I mean, the food is great, but frequently these are things that aren't available either through bridge or even they're not pantries, there's not things like that, so they're not accessible to people. And those care boxes, we used to do them. We did them at our church, and we continue to do them for $22 at a dollar a store or somewhere like that. You can fill a box with just really necessary items for those who are homeless or in need.
How concerned are you, and I say you, Steve, as Holland Rescue Mission, about the fall and winter ahead of us, because of the fact that we're still in the we're still in the outbreak. We still have the restrictions, even if there is a vaccination, a cure, or maybe, I don't know, that might be a little while. But even though nothing's probably going to happen until probably the first of the year, how concerned are you, is the people of the mission about the outlook for those who need help in the fall and the winter this year, when a lot of the things they might be able to turn to just not there?
Yeah, I mean, boy, the safety and security of our guests are always primary for us. We want to be hospitable and create an environment where people can receive what they need. So, of course, this is a new reality for us. We have reduced capacity still, although we're making some adjustments. We're learning things all along the way about how to social distance and how to create some barriers for people so that we can, if there's a high uptick in homelessness, that we can still house people. We're confident that our community is a loving, caring place, and they will provide. But obviously, we want to make sure we create a place where people don't get sick. I mean, again, we're really grateful. We have had no positive tests among our staff and our guests. And I give a huge amount of credit to our staff. They have been incredibly diligent about that. But obviously, as we enter into the winter months, that's the time frequently that we see more and more people needing the services that we provide. So we're paying attention to that a lot.
Yes, indeed. And it's very important. And again, HollandRescue.org is the best way to connect with Holland Rescue to help them out. And of course, the resale shop.
Absolutely. Come sell. We're having a great month, and we're actually having a great year here. We think we're going to meet budget, even though we were closed for 8 weeks at the store. So thanks to the Holland community for that. That's just a gift to us.
I'm going to throw you a curveball question. Maybe, Steve, maybe it isn't a curveball question. I'm not certain. The old Michigan Tire building over on 6th and River. Is that still involved with the mission, or is that not with you guys at all?
That's not with us at all anymore. No.
Okay, I just kind of went because I was seeing some things moving around there. I know when we had some people from Escape Ministries earlier this year, they're saying, "Oh, I'd love to be able to get to that property and be able to use that to serve as an outreach area." Because hey, I've had my car serviced at Michigan Tire, the old
Sure,
spot there
sure.
too, and it's a pretty good location and the like. But I just didn't know. I wasn't certain whether or not that was still with the mission or not. So
No,
I'm
not
glad you're
anymore.
able to clarify that. Another thing, and I talked to Daryl about this last month, and I want to sort of bring this up when we've had people from the mission before talking about dealing with homelessness. And it came up, I think, about a couple of years ago. The big, I wouldn't say big controversy, but a big concern about the people on the corners sign, with the sign saying, we'll work for food, or, veteran needing help and stuff like that. And some communities had been putting enforcements and ordinances and try to prevent this panhandling, if you want to call it that. And there was some documentaries and some news reports about how some people were using this, not, the needy. They were just basically, this is how they live. They set up a favorite corner, run it for a couple 3 hours, and drive off and go to something else. And use a little bit of a racket. And I remember when we brought this up with some people with the mission, and the effort was, hey, we're going to where the homeless are, the tent areas, or perhaps in a viaduct, and get them out of those areas so that they come to the mission and come to get help. Or you go to those corners where they might be standing. Is that still active to a certain extent, or is that because that to a certain extent is a temporary casualty of COVID-19?
No, it's not. In fact, we're increasing that. We Community Action House, again, with a connection with them, they have a street outreach, both a male and a female who do that, and we increasingly are working with them to identify them. We're actually sharing data with them about folks who are coming into our buildings and who they may know, and we're continuing to do that. We're going out and finding people, and much of the work is being done by them, but then connecting with our residential experts who walk with them. So, and I would say this, when people see those people on the corner, the best thing you could do for them, one, is to pray for them, and secondly, invite them or point them in our direction. Some will grab hold of it, others won't, but if they're really looking for a place where change can happen, we will do our best. We will welcome them, and if they want to come here, we would love to have them. So we continue to reach out into the places where people are.
Steve Rusticus from the Holland Rescue Mission, want to thank you very much for joining us today on WHTC's Talk of the Town, an update on what's going on with the mission. Look forward to chatting with you again soon. Thank you, Steve.
All right. Thanks, Gary. Good to be here.
Thank you very much. That's Steve Rusticus of the Holland Rescue Mission on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.